What are some of the worst songs in pop music in the 2020s? We're going negative today, guys. I'm feeling spicy. I'm feeling hateful in this summer heat. It's got me all riled up. I'm here to talk about the worst of the 2020s so far. I'm going to give you 10 songs. I don't think I'm going to bother putting them in an order because I think I hate all these songs around a similar amount, maybe some slightly less than others, maybe some slightly more than others. But basically, the premise is simple. These are 10 songs that I absolutely detest and I think are truly shocking. Nearly swore there, but I decided not to swear. Maybe I can swear throughout the video, though. Stick around, you might get a bit of swearing from me. And yeah, going to be talking about why I think they're terrible, why I think they're really bad. And yeah, it's always an interesting conversation, this. A lot of people do have negative feelings about pop music generally. I'm not going to go full Rick Beato. I'm not going to, talk about how all music now is bad or all music isn't good or anything like that. I don't want to be doing that. I just want to highlight the worst of the worst. I might do a best because I do think there has been some fantastic pop music in the 2020s. So that could come at some point as well. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments. But for today, we're going to be looking at the worst of the worst. Let me know your thoughts on my picks. What are your picks? Do you massively disagree with any of them? Do you think something should be here that isn't? And as ever, if you're feeling really generous, check out my Patreon, support the membership page, keeps the channel going. I do all these videos in my spare time while also working a full-time job. So I do keep the consistency up for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. At the very least, so you can like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff if you don't want to support me over on there. But yeah, they're the bare minimum, guys. Come on, stick around for this content, please. And I'm going to go with something that might be a bit surprising to start with here. I know there's going to be some low-hanging fruit on this list, songs that everybody hates. But this one might surprise some people. Stick Season by No Con. I think this song's terrible. I really can't stand this song. And the reason I say it might surprise some people is I know some people don't like this song, but you might just be surprised that I think it's this bad to put it in the top 10 of the decade. But I'm going to stand by it. I actually didn't hate it initially, but last year in the UK, it really, really got massive. It didn't even come out in 2024, I don't think. I think it came out like 2022 or 2023. But it got really, really drilled in my brain. Wherever I went, I'd just hear this song. And initially, I was like, okay, we're doing the whole indie folk thing, bringing that back, the 2010s folky, stompy, clap stuff that, the Lumineers, Vance Joy, Mumford & Sons, all that stuff. That was popular for a little while, a bit unexpectedly, but yeah, I was like, okay, we're doing all this again. I don't know why it's big, but yeah, just hearing it as much as I did really kind of drilled in my brain how much I couldn't stand this song. It just became a nightmare to listen to. The vocals are so forced. The vocals are so forced. I saw somewhere that he isn't actually even from the place that he's doing the accent for. This is some Iggy Azalea shit. We're doing Iggy Azalea in folk music now. Whoa. Whoa. So the accent is completely forced and unreasonably he's got the most annoying voice. I think the lyrics are completely trite as well. The whole COVID on planes thing really annoys me. Just everything about the stompy clappy ukulele bullshit stuff coming through. I don't even know if there is a ukulele, it just sounds like it. And yeah, I just can't cope with it, man. The way he does that chorus, that he does in his voice, the season of the sticks, and I suck your mom. I just can't do it. So forced. I'm not into it at all. Really can't stand it. Everything about it just screams generic, which I know is a bit of a lazy criticism, but it really is just the most bare to the bone, simple, folky track you could imagine. You could just muster this up in a lab, AI generated, if you will, and it would just come out with this. So much great music in this style that I've talked about for years on this channel. And yeah, this is what we like popular. Come on, man. I'm going to get this track out of the way because I've talked about this a lot on this channel. But Carnival by Kanye, Playboy Carti, Ty Dolla Sign, Rich the Kids on this track. Can't cope with this, man. Hate it. Absolutely grim song. The lyrics are some of the most vile things I've ever heard. And this is coming from a guy that will listen to Future. And even I'm like, no, I can't do these lyrics. Like, Future is very explicit and can be very cringe on the ears at times. And I get it if you don't like Future. Like, you know, this is kind of like, in some ways, similar style to some of the things Future's done over the years. But it's just like taking it to the extreme. Kanye's like porn addiction is just off the charts here. Carti's feature basically is one of the reasons why the song got so big. I think we saw this year with how big music was and how popular some of the songs were in the charts. I think that kind of carried this popularity to make it a #1 hit in the US. That Carti hype feels real now, and I think he has the power to make people more tune into songs. Even saying this about a Kanye song is crazy, considering Kanye was that guy 15 years ago, but times change. And yeah, I think everything about it, man, the ultras chanting, which if you look in the history of the ultras, it's like he's not even hiding it from the music now. Like, a lot of people say separate the art from the artist, which I often do, to be honest, depending on the type of things people have done. But when it's like bleeding into the music, and again, look it all up. I'm not talking about it here, man. Like, you can do your own research. Tifo did a good video. If you're a football fan, and you like, or soccer, you like that kind of thing, watch the Tifo video. But again, this is the thing, football isn't as big in America. Football isn't as big over there as it is in Europe, so you wouldn't know the history of all that if you're just casually listening to music. So I don't think people completely understood all that. But yeah, that bleeding into it, the beat is awful, the chorus is shockingly bad, everything about it is terrible, man. Carti's voice is horrific too. This new Carti era isn't doing it for me, man, and he takes up a massive portion of that song, but everything about it is just diabolical. Awful song. Also, carry on with some of the low-hanging fruit, actually. I'm just going to mention Dance Monkey. I'm not even going to spend a huge amount of time on this one, but Dance Monkey by Tones and I is absolutely as bad as everyone says. Like, I'm sorry, man. This is just one of those songs where maybe if I was looking a little bit like in a like a squinty way, going, is it really that bad? I guess a good example for me for that, and I don't like this song, and I don't actively listen to it, but Beautiful Things by Benson Boone is a good example of that. People really, really hate on that song. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as people make it out to be. But so sometimes you can look at it from an angle and you go, is it that bad? No, Dance Monkey is that bad. The vocals are some of the worst I've ever heard. The instrumental is just like crappy. I don't know. There's just nothing about it that screams to me as catchy. Maybe if I was 5 years old, and I think that's the target demographic for this song. I think in years to come, it will slow down in its popularity. I don't think it will be as high up on the all-time streams for Spotify as it is now. I think once we let it die, it will drop down, because I think it was more for that young age range. Even then, like, kids have crap taste, man. Like, I had awful taste when I was a kid. I had terrible taste. Kids just have bad taste. It's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. It's not hating on the kids. They just have bad taste. We all did. And this is terrible. Adults also have bad taste, and this song is very much for the adults, because I can't imagine kids listening to Tekashi 6ix9ine. But yes, somehow, despite the fact that this guy is completely irrelevant now, doesn't get talked about in any conversations, and doesn't seem to chart any songs ever. And he's had a few albums in the past few years, by the way, you probably didn't even know about. But yeah, Tekashi 6ix9ine in the 2020s did have a #1 hit with Nicki Minaj, no less, another flop of the 2020s, who just isn't at that level she once was. Them two coming together and making this, and yeah, it's just utterly crap. And considering some of the things that have come out about Tekashi 6ix9ine, and some of the stories, and some of the allegations, and Nicki Minaj's husband, I don't want to go too much into it, but it's probably not surprising she would collaborate with this man. I'm just saying, it's not surprising at all. But yeah, Trollz is grim. They're just like, this is one of the worst things. Like, sometimes a song can just annoy me, like some of the ones I've already mentioned. They're great on my ears. Those first few I've mentioned there, really great on my ears. But sometimes I'm just listening to a song and it's, maybe you're out and about, although I haven't heard the song that much, but if you do hear it, you're just like, this doesn't even have like a melody. This doesn't even have like a catchy hook. This doesn't even have like a memorable. Like, I don't get it, man. Sometimes, like, what was it? Was it just because at the time these two were just at the top of their respective games, and coming together could just make a massive charting hit? I don't know. I think honestly at this point this song probably isn't that popular, so I might be scraping the barrel a little bit by including it, but it was popular at a time, so it counts for me. It counts enough to be mentioned in the 2020s pile of poo. Like I say, man, there's just nothing to latch onto on this song. And when it's a charting popular song, you've got to latch onto something. I'm not listening to Swans here, right? Swans, you don't go to Swans for a bubblegum pop chorus. Like, that they're not in the charts. But when something is in the charts and you're meant to be enjoying it, and you hear this and there's nothing there, like, so why? Just crazy, man, crazy. There's been a lot of talk about sampling this decade, and too much talk if you ask me, because it was never meant to be like this for sampling. Sampling was never meant to get this much like focus and people be so like hating on the actual concept of sampling, because that was never meant to be the way. Sampling at its best is incredible, can be stunning, can be incredibly creative, can be unique, can be game-changing. If you really dig deep and pay attention to sampling over the years of music, like that is the best of what it can do. But now we've hit a point where it's become really lazy. Now, that's not to say all sampling is lazy. I really don't want to be saying that. But it's hit a point where some of the biggest songs in the charts that are really recognizable are like, yeah, this is getting too much. And we're just throwing them in for nostalgia bait, all that kind of stuff. It's just really lazy. We're not actually doing anything with sample. We're just basically paying the royalties just to have that beat and use the same beat and just put a song over it. So it was never meant to be like this. And honestly, you're probably thinking of so many songs in your head right now that I could be talking about. And honestly, a lot of them would be fine for this list. But I've actually gone for a bit of a weirder pick here. And I'm going with Lil Boo Thang, which samples one of my favorite songs ever, Best of My Love by The Emotions. Now, this song has been sampled before. There have been artists that have sampled this really well. I think Mariah Carey does it. I'm sure she does on one. Yeah, she does on her track Emotion. It's an amazing sample. It's great, really well crafted in the song. But on this track, it literally just keeps the beat basically the same, and it's just this cheesy, corny, goofy guy putting these really cringy lyrics over it, and doesn't do anything with the track. And it became really popular, particularly in England and the UK. Like, this part of the world, this was super popular. And I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I can't stand it. His voice is really annoying. Like, it's just the cheesiest thing you can imagine. Again, maybe a bit of a random pick to put in my top 10, but I'm standing by it, honestly. I think this is really not good. Hot Girl Bummer is going to be mentioned here. I feel like I just don't even know what to say for this one. The chorus is so irritating and so, like, forcefully, like, you know, I'm too good for you all, and I'm like, you know, oh, F you, F you, F you. And it's just, I hate shit like that, man. There's just no substance to this whatsoever. Beat is crappy. Yeah, I mean, what would you really expect from Blackbear, I guess? And on that same conversation, on that same similarity, we may as well mention ABCDEFU. These two songs kind of exist in a similar plane for me, where they're both awful to listen to. They're both bratty and acting tough in a way that's really lame and not in any way tough, and just sounds like cringe. And yeah, we're both very big for the 2020s. Yeah, maybe this song's not as popular as it once were, actually. I feel like you don't see this talked about as much. You don't hear this played as much now. I think the people that probably did like it at the time have grown up a bit and probably wouldn't play it as much now. I'd like to think that anyway. So yeah, but still, just that ABCD, like, I refrain is just ugly. Everything else, like, that's the really famous part of the track. But the rest of it's just, like, absolutely crap as well. So yeah, those two, definitely in the top 10 for me. Unholy, Sam Smith, Kim Petras. Sophie did not deserve this, man. I'm sorry, but this is one of the worst ways for an artist that didn't get their flowers when they were alive, because Sophie did not. Let's be honest, Sophie didn't. Sophie did by the indie niche music crowd that pay attention to those kinds of genres on the internet, and you know, it was a bubbling thing at the time. But like, she didn't get her flowers when she was here. So let's take like a beat that I guess Sophie was a part of and just turn it into this sloppy mess. Just why? You know, horrible stuff. Just grim. Yeah, the lyrics are embarrassing. Again, I also feel like this song for its time like was trendy, but I don't know, would the people that loved it then be playing it as much now? It felt very much like a trendy moment. And let's be honest too, this got so popular just from that snippet that went viral on TikTok, but you can just tell that they built the song around that bit, because the rest of the track just feels like an afterthought, and it's so clearly like built around that chorus with those lyrics. And yeah, I've seen some real like prudish takes about the lyrics. I think some people are a bit over the top, but the thing that gets me is just like how, like, you know, it's trying to be like satanic, and it's just like really corny. Like I don't know, it has to be corny though, because something actually satanic, something actually like devilish wouldn't ever make it into the charts, right? Like, it just wouldn't. You wouldn't actually get some like black metal or death metal in the charts, which actually sounds satanic. Of course not. So this just has to be corny, and it just really falls flat on his face. Yeah, everything about it, man. Just, it sounds horrible. It just sounds horrible. The gospel infusion as well. Yeah, just, it feels like a song that if the right people were involved, it would work. But it just went to the wrong people and just ended up sounding like an absolute sloppy, crappy mess. I've got to bring up Drake here, man. You know, I'm not a massive Drake hater, which I think some people might think I am. I don't absolutely detest Drake in the way some people do. But Drake has been bad this decade. Like, there's no two ways about it. Drake has been bad in the 2020s. Drake has been just churning out whatever he can and just putting out everything and flooding the market because it works, and flooding the market with all the amount of songs he's put out this decade. Like, I genuinely have to question how much music he's put out this decade. Like, we're probably in like the well into the hundreds with the amount of songs he's put out, because all of his albums that he puts out are at least 20 tracks. They're at least well over an hour long. And he's put out an album in almost every single year of this decade, apart from last year. And yet last year, he was still dropping music because of the beef and stuff. He's got to be like pushing 150 songs just this decade alone. That is insane. So I could probably pick out 50 to 75 songs for this. But one of the biggest tracks for this decade that he was a part of is Way Too Sexy, which sadly has... yeah, Future's on it. Yeah, I mean, again, I mentioned I do like Future early, but Future is no stranger to putting out something bad. Like, he has it in him, and yeah, this song is just wow, what a terrible usage of the sample once again. We're doing it again, guys. It's just another sample just being used in a horrendous way. The lyrics are shocking. Again, like, nothing's catchy about this track. I just find it so bizarre sometimes how Drake can do this. And obviously people out there do find it catchy, because they wouldn't be playing it and it wouldn't end up in like clubs and that kind of thing. But genuinely can't find the hook here. I can't find it, man. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to find the catchy beat, the catchy verses. There's just nothing here to latch onto. Everything about it feels like a gimmick. It's terrible. And I'm going to finish off with a niche pick, actually. I'm British, guys. So for better or for worse for you, you do have to put up with me talking about songs that get bigger in the UK occasionally. I already mentioned Lil Boo Thing, but there was also another track from D Block Europe, and Ray is on it too, who actually has quite a bit of talent and is quite a good musician. But last year, one of the biggest dance tracks was this song called Prada, and what is this? This is an absolute mess, man. This is insanely bad for a really popular song. Everything down to the way the vocals are mixed. There's this like chipmunk effect on the voices, which again isn't a terrible thing for music. It can work, of course, but here it does not. It sounds grim. It sounds atrocious. And then the beat itself sounds like shoddy and like amateur, and it doesn't even have like it's meant to be like a dance song and like a house inspired song, I guess. But like literally any house musician in the world would be able to like space out the instruments in a way that doesn't make it sound so muddy and messy, and like instruments kind of over one another, and I'm really baffled by it. Yeah, you can hate on Fred again. You can hate on Barry Can't Swim. All those guys, all those popular guys at the minute that are, you know, making a name for themselves in the house world. But find me a song that they've done that sounds as shoddy produced as this. It really doesn't compute in my brain how bad this song sounds. Yeah, really awful. Again, Ray takes up a lot of the track, but she, again, I do think she is quite good. I don't absolutely love Ray, but yeah, her voice here is just, oh, it's awful to hear. And yeah, there's no hook, there's no melody. It's just a baffling song that got really big over here in the UK. If you're like absolutely drugged up, you're probably gonna think this sounds good, which maybe is the setting to hear it, but any other time, this does not sound good. And that is it from me, the 10 worst popular songs of the 2020s so far. And yeah, let's see what the rest of the decade brings, because 2025 has been dry. 2025 has been dry. I don't think there's a single 2025 song on here, though. No, not as far as I can see. So, you know, I could have put maybe a couple from this year, but nothing's been quite that bad yet. Everything's just been pretty mediocre as far as I can see in the charts. There's not been much excitement going on at all. And yeah, that's it from me. These are the 10 picks. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know what your picks are in the comments. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Subscribe, like, check out Patreon if you're feeling generous as well. Have a good day.